Hello, my name is Umahro Cadogan. I'm a nutrition nerd, nutrition expert, peak performance expert, and adjunct professor of nutrition and functional medicine. Today I'm going to talk a bit about vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, because we certainly are not getting enough. For one, we're not outside enough of the time. I mean, we sort of grew up running around more or less semi-naked somewhere in Africa in the sun 24/7. And our main source of sun is actually of vitamin D is going to be sunshine. But there are some foods that contain vitamin D as well. Some of the fatty foods we get, like eggs, meat, fatty fish as well, that can certainly bolster your intake of vitamin D. But again, if you just go through food and you're not living in a sunny climate and you're outside a lot of the time, the amounts of vitamin D you're getting probably are not optimum. You still need to supplement. Anyway, let's have a lovely breakfast for starters that will supply with vitamin D and taste really good. So I'm going to do scrambled eggs in coconut oil with some spring onions and lots of curry. The curry is really good, goes well in terms of flavor, but it also helps protect the cholesterol and the fats in the egg from oxidizing when we put them on the pan. So let's hit it. So, we have our lovely scrambled eggs with spring onions finished. Anyway, back to the vitamin D, because why is vitamin D so important for athletes? I mean, for one thing, vitamin D is really important for your bone strength. And I see a lot of elite level athletes getting repetitive stress fractures. So just because of the load they put on their skeleton with their training and the competition they do, they actually get stress fractures that are often related to not getting enough vitamin D. But that's far from the whole story. Vitamin D is really important for muscle functioning. So if you're low on vitamin D, that will actually decrease your physical strength. It will give you muscle pains, and vitamin D is also important for regulating inflammation. So along with omega-3 fatty acids, making sure you get enough vitamin D is really important to make sure you don't get these chronic inflammatory states from overloading or from repetitive stress. And finally, vitamin D is really important for your immune system. And what's one of the big problems a lot of elite athletes dread or actually deal with? They get ill when they increase their training load. But if you make sure that your vitamin D intake is sufficient, your risk of getting some of these infections will actually be decreased. So you should be getting vitamin D, and the truth is also the harder you work, the more you push your body, the more vitamin D you need because you use more, sort of like water. The harder you work, the more water you have to drink, but the same goes for vitamin D. The harder you push yourself, the more of it you need. And unless you're doing every single event and all your training in the sun, somewhere close to the equator, then you need to eat as much vitamin D rich food as you can. And of course, in addition to eggs, remember fish, especially fatty fish like salmon is an excellent source. Cream can be an excellent source as long as you're not allergic or intolerant to milk. And also meat. But I still say a supplement might be a really good way of making sure you're getting enough, or even better, that you're getting optimal amounts.